Today, I want to talk about joy and happiness. What's the difference between joy and happiness? We think they're the same thing. Sometimes we don't even think about whether or not there's a difference. We interchange them. Go enjoy yourself, be happy. What is the difference between joy and happiness? The Bible speaks often, as a matter of fact, Jesus spoke a number of times about our joy and our joy being made full, and how because of Him our joy is full. So let's see what is joy and what is happiness. Happiness is primarily circumstantial. Depends on what's going on in your life. If you're having a good time, if everything is nothing's worrying you or bothering you, then you can be happy. Happy is more dependent on things that are external, things that are circumstantial. Happiness has a tendency to be temporary. You're not always happy. When things go wrong, you have a tendency to get unhappy. I am most likely to be unhappy when I'm driving, or not when I'm driving, when I'm in traffic, because people in circumstances irritate me and I get unhappy with them. Now, can you be happy and still have joy? What is joy and how do we have joy? We talk about joy in the Lord. Well, because joy is internal. Joy is more dependent upon internal factors and something that's more permanent, something that has purpose and meaning, something that's not just come and go. We find joy in our salvation because it's permanent. Our forgiveness, because of Jesus Christ, our forgiveness is permanent. And we can find joy in that. We can find that inner satisfaction, that inner peace, that thankfulness, because we are forgiven and because we now have fellowship with God. Can you be unhappy and still have joy? I think so. Because, like I said, happiness is temporary. It comes and goes. You can be happy for a few minutes or not for a few minutes. Happiness is something that gives you pleasure. You may not find pleasure and joy. That may sound a little strange, but Paul said, count it joy when you fall into temptation. Well, how can that be? When we're having trials and temptations, how can that bring us joy? Because it also reminds us of our inner strength. It reminds us of the fact that God is with us and gives us strength and gives us meaning and gives us purpose. And we know that we can resist temptation, even though it may look good. And let's face it, temptations look good. If they didn't look good, they wouldn't be temptations. Temptation is something that we think will give us happiness, and it might for a short period of time, but it may also bring about some consequences that we're not really happy with. So we can be joyful in times of trial, or trial and temptation and those kind of things. Can we be joyful in our in God's discipline? Well, maybe a little difficult, but we should be, because if you've had children, you've ultimately had to discipline them one time or another, and you do it because you love them, because you don't want them to be hurt, or because you don't want them to do something that's going to cause them harm or get them into trouble. And so you teach them, you discipline them. And the word discipline doesn't necessarily come from punishment, but comes from teaching. And so when God disciplines us, it is to teach us His love and His mercy and His grace and the peace that we find in His presence and the joy we find in His presence. Now, if you stop and just think about all of the blessings that you have in your life. Now, don't dwell on the negative stuff, well, it's raining outside, I can't go out and do this or that, or I didn't get the raise or the promotion that I thought I was going to get, or whatever the problem is, I bumped something in the car. Whatever you think your problem is, just realize it is temporary. Therefore, your unhappiness is temporary, but your joy is permanent. Now, think about the blessings in your life. Think about how good God is to you. Think about, I heard a song this morning, I'm not sure the guy who wrote it knew how profound it was, but basically it said that every moment in your life led you to this moment. Everything in your life led you to this moment. And it's true, very profound statement. Now, this moment changes every moment, but you are where you are today because of your past decisions and choices you've made. Now, we've talked about that before. But do you find joy in living? You should. If you're a Christian and you understand the magnificence of your forgiveness, if you understand the eternal future that God holds for you, if you understand the power and the majesty and the love of the Almighty Creator of the universe, and how you are His child, and He loves you, if you can understand that, you can have joy, you can have peace. And if you just stop in the midst of whatever it is that's going on in your life, if you just stop and thank Jesus, thank God, realize that your God is not limited in His power, His reach, or His ability, or His desire to love you and have you love Him. It's kind of like, I'm a hugger. I hug people. Some people like it, some people don't. If people don't like it, I try not to hug them again. But my family's a hugger. And sometimes you just need a hug. Just that secure idea that somebody cares, that there's I don't know, maybe there's a warmth in it. I'm not sure what it is, but I love hugs, and I like to hug people. Well, the joy that we have from God is kind of like a spiritual hug, isn't it? I mean, the understanding of God's love for you, the understanding of His mercy and His grace, forgiveness, all the blessings He holds in store for us. And you say, well, I haven't seen any of those blessings. Well, examine your relationship to God. Examine your prayer life. Examine your dependence upon God. See where you stand. Are you dependent upon God, or are you dependent upon self? Be happy. There's a song I rediscovered recently called "Don't Worry, Be Happy." Well, that's good, and it takes a lot of effort, and it's a good positive attitude, and I think you should do that. But be saved and be joyful. Remember, God loves you. I love you.